Good morning. And have I already mentioned that I hate mornings? Question: why am I here in the morning? Well, yesterday I signed a new contract with my employer, so I will be changing workplace within the corporation. But that means that I will always be working afternoon shift from noon to the early evening, which means that whenever I want to make a video during the week, I have to do it in the morning. Have I already mentioned that I hate mornings? Anyways, next thing anybody's gonna say is, he's wearing the same shirt as last time, the bastard. No, I'm not walking around in unclean clothes. I'm not a messy of sorts, Over the week I only wear this for making videos, so it's okay, I guess. So today I'm doing another experiment with the camera because my last video I worked a lot with my hands, doing this and that and the focus was again confused. My actual topic of today would be Shadowrun, how it all began 29, almost 30 years ago. And so let me quickly talk about that. I was in 6th grade and it seems that one of my friends had bought the Shadowrun first edition rulebook and he wanted to play. He had a friend in his home village with whom he had already tried a session or two, I guess, and he wanted to expand the circle of players, so he asked me and another guy. Let's call the other guy K. Yeah, K is okay, because I don't remember what his character was named. That other person from the village, his character's name was Iceman, and I've never forgotten that. For some reason, I don't know why. So, it was me and Iceman and Kay and the Game Master. I didn't know anything about role-playing games. I couldn't even imagine what that would be like, because I only knew these games where you draw cards and chance would decide whether your actions would be successful or not. So I thought, you declare that your character is doing this and that, and you draw a card, and the card says, this is what happens. Well, no, not exactly. Our game master was, I wouldn't say he was a psycho, but he was definitely weird. Because he insisted that we sit on the floor. He kind of liked that. I don't know why. We played on the floor for years. On the floor of his room, on the bare wooden floor. It was a nice floor, but it was still a hard floor, and he insisted we play on the floor. I can't repeat that often enough. Kay and Iceman were humans, but I wanted to play a troll. Trolls are big and strong, and you're not exactly smart, but so yeah, I had fun playing that troll. I wanted to play a big and strong character. That had to do with my own being an insecure kid. You can guess the rest. The troll was named Black Death. It was my first character ever, and I created a handful of Black Death characters for other systems later until I emancipated from that kind of concept a few years later. So in the beginning we were playing in New York. The original Shadowrun takes place in Seattle, in the Seattle of 2050, but our game master decided we should be playing in New York because he had a map of the city and he wanted to use it. Okay, so we played in a very decrepit New York. Iceman was a decker. Today we'd call him a hacker. And he got us our first million by breaking into a bank's computer and transferring lots of money to our bank accounts by rolling insane dice rolls. And speaking about realism, later we broke into another bank and we opened these safes, and the troll did it with his bare fist, by punching some of them, and we found some diamonds and some money, and in the end every one of us had $1 million, and yeah, so we were rich instantly, yay. And being the megalomaniacs that we were, we decided to open our own state. So we had the United Blocks of New York, which was like 4 blocks of real estate in the middle of Manhattan. Of course, our little state did not survive long. Our game master soon realized his mistake and declared to us after class on Monday that the military had ended our experiment after a few days and we were driven out. We saved our lives and our equipment and our millions, but we had to leave the country into some form of safety. So we needed a place to flee to. So where did we want to flee? Yeah, there was this new book around. It was called the Germany Sourcebook, or in German, Deutschland in den Schatten. Germany in the Shadows. And we said, yeah, we are going to Berlin. Because Berlin was an anarchy zone and it was law-free. There were no cops, no military, no nothing, with a wall around it. In Berlin, we got this mission. We were to go to Vladivostok, on the other side of Asia, around the globe. And there was supposed to be a guy whom we had to kill. We got a name, and for some reason we knew that he was traveling in a chopper a lot. You know, a helicopter. That was all we knew. Adventures back then were very simple. I don't know why, but we began traveling with a car. We drove eastwards. Why we did not take a plane escapes me completely. The last fuel stop that we found was somewhere behind Moscow, and then we drove on until the gas went out and we had to walk. We found an ox cart, which the troll then pulled like a rickshaw, and we traveled on this way, which of course took a very long time. And we met these nomads in the middle of Siberia who were friendly, aggressive at the same time. You know, they wanted us to engage in certain contests. There were 3 or 4 contests, I think, and I only remember 2. One was dancing, and I remember the word kasachok, but I am not sure that is the correct word. Maybe kasaka is the right word. You know, this Russian kind of dance where you go like this and you throw your legs around, that kind of thing. And we had to roll dexterity to make that happen, and it wasn't done very well, but it was done. And then there was an eating contest where we thought everybody would be served, I don't know, a beef or turkey or whatever. But no, not at all. Actually, we were tied to chairs, and then we had tubes inserted into our, what's it called, you know, this tube where your food goes down, and then they attached these sacks of oat, and they filled our stomachs like that, you know. We took a lot of damage. We almost died, but we survived, and we lost the ox cart, we lost some of our equipment, but eventually we got away. And at the end, we arrived in Vladivostok after several weeks of traveling. We saw the city limits. All the game master did was say, there's a launch pad and there's a helicopter. And we, for some reason, thought, oh, that must be the guy. There's a helicopter, we're in Vladivostok, and so that must be the guy. We had a rocket launcher, and I shot the rocket launcher at the helicopter, and I missed. And so I threw the rocket launcher to the guy next to me, and he shot, and he missed. And he threw it to Iceman, and he also missed. And so the helicopter got away, and that's how the adventure ended. But of course, that was just some helicopter, and that was not the guy that we were looking for. Yeah. Of course, we were not paid anything because the mission was not accomplished. For the next mission, we were kind of beamed or teleported back to Berlin. We're just back. It was awesome. I fell in love with that game. Now, as you can imagine, all these Shadowrun events took place a very, very long time ago. Let's say in 1989, 1990. It's been 28, 29 years already. So, and this is more or less how it started so many years ago. I'm really sorry I don't remember any details because it has been so long ago. And I didn't take any notes at the time. I only started like 10 years ago taking notes, which is regrettable, of course. So what I'm doing here is remind myself of what happened in the past so I might remember it 40 years in the future. Next time I want to talk about two things. One is the transition from Shadowrun 1st edition to Shadowrun 2nd edition and what that implied. And I want to talk about our cyberpunk adventures because our game master saw the mistakes that he made in Shadowrun, like giving us 3 million nuyen right in the beginning of our career and thus making us financially independent. So he decided to take us on a very short leash and take cyberpunk from a diametrically opposed direction. So that is all for today. See you next time. Have a good time.